today's show is the Provost and Chief Academic Officer for Jackson Catholic Schools, Stephanie Kristovic. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi. I am sorry for making you say that mouthful. What a mouthful.
It's a mouthful. You've got a new job with a longer title. Previously principal at Lumen Christi. And late last spring, you got promotion to actually what I think is a brand new position at JCS.
Yeah, it is a brand new position, and so people have a lot of questions about it, which is good. We love to answer. We want people to know about the awesome things that are happening in our schools. So this actually came out of in 2016, 2017. Jackson Catholic Schools came together to start a strategic planning process. And initially, when the strategic planning process was started a few years before that, the Lumen Christi Board of Trustees were the ones who, with Elaine Crosby, who was president at the time, said we need to do a strategic planning. And ultimately they decided that the success of Lumen Christi is predicated upon the success of all of our schools, of all of the Catholic schools in Jackson County. And so back in 2016, 2017, they decided that the strategic planning process would be done together. And so all the pastors were involved. Father Tim Nelson from St. Mary's, Father Chaz from St. John's, Father Tim McDonald from Queens, Father Satish, Father Tom Helfrich from St. Rita's. So it kind of was that first step towards understanding that to be on mission in the way we want to be, meeting kids where they are and bringing them to God, to serve the Jackson community the way we want to be, and to make sure that we're around for the next 100, 150, 200 years to celebrate our history, that really we have to work together to do great things. And so what came out of that strategic planning process was first that Jackson Catholic Schools would be formed. And so that officially happened in September 2020. So it took a couple years to get that process going. And in the Catholic Church, it's a big process with the canonical duties and who owns it. And so that process was done thoroughly and well, and officially in 2020 we became Jackson Catholic Schools. So now Lumen Christi, Queens, St. Mary's, and St. John's belong to each other officially. And then the first part of that was that we hired Executive Director Tim DeWitt, who's been on your show and talked about the great things he's done. And so in the last 2 years, he's just done an amazing job bringing together the pastors and making sure that the pastor leadership is really at the core of visioning and what we do. And then working with our Board of Trustees to transition to being the Board of Trustees for Jackson Catholic Schools and not just for Lumen Christi. And that's been a really great process. That board is full of amazing, committed Catholic individuals who love our schools and love our community. So working with them. And the next step was always kind of once we get integrated, so once the logistics of integration are done, the purpose of integration was always to be more on mission. It was always to bring more families to Catholic education, to do an even better job with our Catholic education, to make sure that our graduates were living their Catholic faith for their whole lives, to be sending kids off to do amazing things in the world, to be living excellently in whatever they did. And so that's kind of where my job had been visioned 5 or 6 years ago, but feels to people like it's really new, but we kind of knew it was coming. And my job is really to make sure that our schools are, we've been using kind of the catchphrase, more on mission, easier on mission. How can we be more on mission? How can we reach more families? How can we do better work? And then how can we be easier on mission? So we do wonderful things. We have so many families and faculty who sacrifice to be a part of Catholic education. How can we make it easier for them to do that so that we can do the work that we're already doing and do even more of it?
So essentially, I guess for lack of a better term, you're a school district now, as opposed to separate schools in the same community.
That's exactly right. And I think that's the easiest way for people to understand it. So we really are thinking about, initially when I was doing a lot of planning for my role, I kept putting K-12 on things. And, because we're not only a school district, we're also connected to our parishes in really significant, important ways. We're really thinking about birth to 12. What does it mean to educate students holistically in the Catholic tradition from the time they're born until they graduate, and to really come alongside parents who have a strong vision for their children and what they want for their children, and to help them do that.
And I think before there was competition between the elementary schools, and when you think back to before when Our Lady of Fatima and St. Joe's had Catholic schools, there was, competition. Parishes were, oh, you want to come to Fatima? No, you should check out St. Joe's. And there was time, energy, and probably dollars that were spent competing against each other.
Well, and I think that's exactly right. And the reality is we have so much more in common than we do different. So our Catholic schools do really incredible things. And I think our graduates really speak for themselves in the way they choose to live their lives and give service and give back and live lives of faith and really contribute to their communities. We have all that in common. And so the differences, they are there, and it's really going to be important, I know, to the pastors, to the principals, to the faculty, to the families. Each of our schools is going to continue to be different. Mm-hmm. St. Mary's has this really beautiful identity of kind of deep faith and traditional values. They meet every single morning, their whole school, to do prayer for 20 minutes. Every single morning, their whole school prays together in the same room. It's beautiful. It's awesome. You go to it, you're like, I can't wait for my kid to go to St. Mary's. And then you go to St. John, and they have this awesome family feel where the parents are so welcoming to each other. And they're just so warm and loving. And you go there and you're like, I want my kid to go to St. John. I can't wait for and then you go to Queens, and they're so structured and innovative, and their teaching is really like, they just push themselves so hard. And then you say, so each of them has their unique identity that shares these Catholic values, shares these Catholic traditions, but they have their own flavors too, and we want that to stay the same. We want parents to have really great options that speak to them, that speak to their parish in the Jackson community. And there's enough love to go around. We think any of our schools are a great fit for families who want a Christ-centered education, who want traditional family values. And we're really happy that we have amazing schools to offer.
Does the new structure have anything built into it that makes the transition from elementary to middle school, that feeder system easier for students to move up?
Well, that's really a lot of my job, and what it's going to be in the next few years is looking at curriculum and how we're choosing curriculum. And all of our schools may not use the same curriculum, but we really are going to be making, data-driven decisions about what the best curriculum is that's aligned with our Catholic values, seeing how that rolls up, strengthening our systems, especially for counseling and special education and programming, so that creates really consistent roll-up. For example, one of the amazing things we have going on right now that speaks to that is we're launching a new arts program this fall for our 4th through 6th graders. So kids at St. Mary's, St. John's, and Queens who are in 4th through 6th grade can get bused to Lumen Christi. And then there's monthly art programming that they can do with our amazing art faculty, Mrs. Miller. And so we're integrating those 4th through 6th graders. They're working together in holistic programming that develops them as human beings, that's focused on, I think their first project is Portraits of the Saints, which is so cool. Mm-hmm. But just creating that community and that shared focus right away. And we're going to see more and more of that from Jackson Catholic Schools, that we are very intentional about how to help parents uncover the children that God created them to be, and how we come alongside them to do that. Just really, this is how it builds upon itself. And this is how you see that from the very first time kids walk through our doors to when they leave at Lumen Christi and graduate.
We're just a couple of weeks into the new school year. How's it going so far?
It's amazing. We love the kids. The kids are the best part of what we do. The faculty are a close second. So we have 2 amazing new principals, Miss Hornby at St. John and Mr. Learned at Lumen Christi, and both of them have just hit the ground running in terms of really getting out there, investing in their families, showing their faith to their families, and really learning from their faculty. I mean, excellence comes when everyone is doing their job at a high level. So, Renee and Ben both know that they've got amazing teachers to rely on and to learn from, and they're doing a really good job of keeping the traditions that make us special, honoring those core values, and then putting their own stamp on the schools, which is super important.
One of those traditions is packet pickup, and that's already occurred. And I understand that you were there helping the new principal learn all about his role on packet pickup day.
You have one job on packet pickup day as principal, which is to smile, shake hands, and solve people's problems. So that might be true of being a principal in general, a lot of it. But, it's just there's so much excitement that day, and we really want families to feel just so confident in their decision about Catholic education, because it's hard to describe the difference until you feel it. And I love hearing that from new students who come in, new faculty who come in every year, of saying, we can't believe what a loving environment this is. We can't believe how everyone is so on mission. We can't believe how hard everyone's pulling in the same direction. We can't believe how much attention we get. We can't believe how interested people are in helping us. That's how we do God's work. And so it's a great day every year to hear that. And I know they do it. I had the funnest time this year going to St. Mary's and St. John's open houses and Queen's open houses, and seeing that same spirit of just kids who love learning, parents who are excited about the values that are going to be taught to their children, teachers who are on fire. It's really awesome.
Actually, a lot of the staff, teachers, and administration and support staff are products of the Jackson Catholic schools, you included. How important is that for someone to have been brought up in the school that they're now working in?
You know, that's a really interesting question, because we love our alumni, all of them, you know, and that's something we want to really do an even better job of, is connecting with them, because we know they love Lumen Christi too, and we know they love their elementary school as well. So it's really important that there are people in the school who understand the history of the school and the core mission, but we also get so much value from those who choose to be a part of our community who are new to it. And I think it's hard to understate that. And that part of being the family is just choosing to be a part of it is the biggest credibility you need, you know. And so we have faculty members who are converts to the Catholic faith, who just have this totally different and amazing perspective. Dan Simmons, he does such amazing work bringing kids to Christ, and he has these experiences to share with them that are so unique to him. We love that. We value that. We would never want to be without him, you know. Or you have families who have been Catholic their whole lives, but maybe never been in Catholic schools before. And now to have them come in and say, no, I can tell you there is a difference, and we're so happy to be here, and we feel like our lives are all aligned in a different way. I think the biggest thing is we just want to make more and more alumni. So we love the alumni we have, and we want to make a whole bunch more of them.
You've got, in addition to former students who are now working at the schools, you've got second, third generation staff, and in some cases you've got father and son, or mom and daughter working in the same building. And some of these are long time. I think of Herb Brogan, who's been at Lumen Christi the whole time, and that's quite a record.
I think I think this is close to Coach Brogan's 50th year. We're getting around in the zone. It's shocking. He's only 58 years old, and he's been at Lumen Christi 50 of them. But it just goes to show the pride that people have and the emotional connection they have. I know that my career, what I've done with my life, was inspired by my parents, my parish, my school, and just the desire to be a part of a place that's loving and faith-centered and that's driven to do good.
Well, we'll be able to see Coach Brogan on JTV Sports this Friday night. Traverse City St. Francis making a long trip to play the Titans, and Lumen.
We hope they have a longer trip home.
Long trip home, yeah.
We hope they have a long trip home.
Yeah, because Lumen's looking to bounce back from that first week, but St. Francis is a tough opponent, so it should be a great game. So
we love tough competition. You get better. Iron forges iron. So
it'll be interesting to see next year with the new Catholic League how things. I know there's going to be a lot of changes. I'll be anxious to see how that goes. Yeah,
they're doing so next week. We're hoping to be official. So the process still is next week. They put it before their board, and the board votes on our application. And we're just really grateful for the opportunity for them to even consider us. Like I said, one, we want to be super on mission with everything we do. 2, iron forges iron. So we want to be, in everything that we do, we want to push ourselves to be the very best. And certainly being around programs with the same commitment to excellence will help us do that. And I want to extend that to the I-8. They've got amazing athletic directors, amazing community members, amazing administrators working in those communities. So we're really grateful for the time we had there, and just excited to expand that and see how some of the things that the Detroit Catholic League offers, like retreats for student athletes, just are so aligned with what we want to do and how we want faith to be integrated into every part of our school day and our school mission. So we're really excited. We accept prayers next week. They'll be voting on our admission, and we're really just looking forward to those opportunities.
Very good. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm
Good luck in
grateful to be here.
your first year in your new position.
Thank you. I'm accepting prayers.
Provost and Chief Academic Officer at Jackson Catholic Schools, Stephanie Kristovic.